Good morning, everybody. I'm here to present the first case for today, which is an adrenal incidentalloma. This is about a 45-year-old lady who is a resident of Siwan, Bihar. She was referred to SGPGI for evaluation of an incidentally diagnosed right adrenal mass. She was suffering from urinary tract infection, for which she had got an ultrasound and CT scan done, where they had diagnosed a right adrenal mass. She was a known diabetic for 3 years, and she was poorly controlled on oral hypoglycemic agents. She was also known hypertensive for 5 years. It was well controlled with both amlodipine and olmesartan, which she was taking twice a day. She had complaints of occasional palpitations, headaches, and excessive sweating during these episodes. There was no history of any exertional dyspnea. There was no other history suggesting of Cushing syndrome. There was no history suggestive of hyperparathyroidism. There was nothing significant in family history. On examination, we found that her pulse rate was 104 per minute. It was regular, normovolumic, with no radioradial or radiofemoral delay. Blood pressure recordings were normal during admission in the range of 100 by 80 to 120 by 80 mmHg. Her abdomen was soft, non-tender. There was no palpable lump or organomegaly. Bowel sounds could be heard. On general examination, there was no abnormality that was detected. There were no visible neck masses. On systemic examination, again it was normal, and there were no neurocutaneous markers were seen. We admitted her for 1 day and investigated her to rule out any functional adrenal tumor. We did a 24-hour urinary collection for normetanephrines and metanephrines, plasma renin aldosterone levels ratio, and ONDST, glycosylated hemoglobin, for her diabetes. Normetanephrines and metanephrines were found to be raised. Everything else was normal. HbA1c was raised. We did a CT scan at SGPGI, which was suggestive of a 6.1 into 7.4 into 9.3 centimeters, intensely enhancing, well-defined lobulated lesion in the right suprarenal region. It was closely abutting and compressing the adjacent hepatic parenchyma and retrohepatic IVC. After adequate alpha blockade and control of blood sugar, we readmitted her and did a right open transperitoneal adrenalectomy under general anesthesia. Operatively, we found multiple flimsy adhesions present between the liver omentum and colon, which were divided. There were multiple parasitic vessels over the adrenal gland. There was a single short adrenal vein which was draining into the IVC, which was identified and divided between sutures. There were other multiple arteries which were also divided. And the specimen was removed. Grossly, the external surface was bosselated and covered with fat. A growth was identified, almost replacing the entire adrenal parenchyma. It was grey-brown in color, with a cystic area measuring 1 into 0.7 centimeters. There was also normal adrenal gland which was identified at the periphery. On further histopathology, the sections showed an encapsulated tumor composed of large polygonal cells arranged in nests surrounded by thin fibrovascular septae. The tumor cells had an isomorphic round to ovoid nuclei, clumped chromatin with single prominent nuclei, and moderate amount of eosinophilic cytoplasm. Few foci of hemorrhage and collagenization was noted. At the periphery of the tumor, a rim of normal adrenal parenchyma was seen. There was no necrosis, capsular or vascular invasion, and mitotic figures were scarce. Periadrenal fat was also free of any tumor deposits. The patient had an uneventful post-op recovery. IV fluids were given till POD2. Clear fluids were started gradually, and from POD3, semi-solid food was allowed. Patient's blood pressure readings in the post-op period were normal. 24-hour urinary metanephrine were collected again on post-operative day 8, and patient was discharged on post-operative day 9. 24-hour urinary collection was repeated again after a year, and both results on POD 8 and annually showed normal results. After 1 year, she had well-controlled blood pressure on 5 mg amlodipine once a day, and there were no signs and symptoms of any residues or recurrent disease.